Welcome to another week on the show. You might think, wow, Caden looks a little flat today. Maybe a little stiff. Well, it's because I am. Well, kind of Caden is, okay? This is an entertaining part of the show, right? I'm here, he's here. Man, AI is getting good. I'm kidding, no, thank goodness. All we'd like to say is all that and more coming up on CKPG today. RRSP deadline of coming up, of course, which makes a good subject for this month's Money Matters with Integris Credit Union. So we're going to have Chris Platoff in here. Thanks so much, Chris, for making the time.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
good to be back.
Yeah, it's good to have you back. You're an educated guy with, you know what, ready to answer some complex questions and things I didn't know much about today. So I'm excited for this. RRSP season, is it like exciting to be in the industry you're in this time of year or stressful?
It's not too bad, to be honest.
Okay.
It's not kind of like the years of the past. It used to be kind of the RSP deadline. Everyone's coming in. Everyone's putting their deposits in.
Yeah.
Now everyone's kind of doing it throughout the year, or a lot of people are. There's still some people that kind of wait until the last minute, get that chunk in, but it's a lot easier for people to kind of just to do it on a scheduled basis, take those little bites and put it in rather than kind of have to come up with a big chunk right at the end of the year. After we got through Christmas, paying those bills off, and then I need another chunk to fund my RSP.
Yeah,
so.
Before the buzzer hits. But
sure.
Let's start off with some basics about RRSPs.
Yeah.
Maybe just some basics on the rules and how they work.
Yeah, so basically with the RSP, you can contribute a certain percentage of your income from previous years. That contribution amount rolls forward. When you put the money in, you get a tax deduction for it, so it reduces your taxable income.
Good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone likes getting that refund at tax time or not paying a huge chunk.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's kind of the benefit of it. It's all kind of a tax situation.
Types of investments within an RSP, is there rules on that?
So it has to be a qualifying investment, but really any publicly traded company, savings accounts, GICs, mutual funds, stocks, it can all be put in there.
What's the most popular thing? Is it like mutual funds? I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to depend on the individual. There's some people that don't like any risk at all. They're going to look at the GICs, high interest savings accounts. Obviously, those have been attractive for the last couple of years with rates now coming down.
Less attractive.
A little less attractive. Given that an RSP is designed for retirement, most people have 40 years, 30 years, 20 years, 10 years.
Right.
So they can take on some market-based investments. So there's things like mutual funds, things like stocks, bonds, to provide a little bit more long-term growth.
Right. Is there, I always heard there's some rule of thumbs for how much you should contribute based on your age. Is that a thing that you guys kind of preach to people? Like, you know, if you put in, say, $100 a month when you're 25, start with that, or is there baselines?
There's not really any rules. Obviously, the earlier you can start, the better. You build those good habits now, get the money in, give power of compounding the time to grow and do its thing. Obviously, you want to be able to survive,
right? Yeah.
Do other things, enjoy your time now, but saving is definitely an important part of that. So.
And then you get to enjoy your golden years, hopefully, is how this works.
That's the hope.
That's where the RIF comes in. I've never heard this word before, but go figure. I guess I'm a young guy, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
RRIF. What is this?
So it's a registered retirement income fund.
Okay.
So RSPs, registered retirement savings plans. So obviously they are for savings for retirement. The RIF is when you retire and it becomes that income source for you.
And I didn't realize you're saying 71 is kind of the latest you have to turn your RSP into that?
Yeah, so at 71, the government says you have to convert from an RSP to a RIF and start drawing that income from it. So at age 71, you convert it. The next year is when you have to start taking from it. So at age 72.
And there are some rules about the RIFs. You have to, I don't know if that's a thing. Are we, RIF? People call them? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. We use a lot of acronyms in the banking world and investment world, so yeah.
Makes sense. Is there like minimums you have to hit? Is it a lot of money? Is it a little bit? Is it a percentage? How does it work?
So it's a percentage of kind of the ending balance. So they look at your age at December 31st of the previous year. They look at the amount that's in the account. At age 71, it is 5.28%.
Okay.
So for someone that has $100,000 in there, they have to pull out 52 or 5,280. So
good math.
Thank you. I try. It's not a huge amount that you have to take out, but that is the minimum. You can obviously take out any amount you want at any time.
Taxable though.
It is taxable. That's the other consideration. So anything you draw out becomes income. So in a perfect world, you're putting in your RSP at your high earning years at that high tax rate. You're pulling out at retirement when you're in a lower tax bracket, hopefully paying more or less taxes. We don't want to pay more taxes.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. As we wrap this up, Chris, is now a good time to invest?
It's always a good time to invest,
okay,
as long as you have kind of the time horizon for it. There's always a lot of noise in the world, a lot of things going on. Every year there's something that says, no, you shouldn't invest because this is happening and that's happening. But if you have that timeline for it and kind of the appetite to watch the ups and downs, you're going to be rewarded in the end.
Yeah, my rule of thumb is don't look every day. You know, if you think it's a bad month, just don't look and look the next month.
I always say you want to be up to date on it, but not too up to date on it. If you watch it every day, every week, you're going to drive yourself crazy.
Yeah.
Look at the overall general trend, take a step back, and kind of see the bigger picture.
Awesome. Well, thanks for your time today, Chris. Of course, RRSP deadline is coming up. Is it March?
March 3rd.
3rd.
So
Perfect.
it's the first 60 days. This year that falls on a Saturday, so they rolled it over to the Monday.
Perfect. Get your contributions in before then. And of course, if you have any questions, call Integris or Chris. Happy to help as always. And yeah, thanks for another educating session here.
Thanks for having me.
Money Matters on CKPG Today is brought to you by Integris Credit Union. From here, all in for you.
You look closely at this. This is a very cool piece of art. The background all started on a piece of copper. That's the theme of The Road Not Taken by Betty Kovacic. It's a Canadian artist working here in Prince George. Very cool story to tell about how this all came to be, including diverting trash from the landfill to turn it into, well, I will call it declared a treasure, to be honest. One of the many exhibits on now at Two Rivers. We're going to learn more about that today. Now inside The Road Not Taken with Betty, Canadian artist working here in Prince George. So thanks for making the time to chat today.
Such a pleasure. Thank you for your interest.
Well, so tell me a little bit about your part of this exhibit. Of course, you're doing it in collaboration with Emily, but walk me through a little bit about what's behind us here, what you got.
Sure. So it was kind of interesting because I only met Emily a few minutes ago, and so Isan figured out that my work and her work would work well together, and I have to agree. So this body of work started during COVID, actually, and it started with a large piece called Water Equals Life. Yeah, and so it was, when I was doing this body of work, it was really important to me to use as few new materials as possible. So almost everything was either repurposed, recycled, or salvaged. All of the copper was actually salvaged. The big piece, the way that it started is, in the greenhouse, my husband had this huge piece of copper. It was about 6 feet by 3 feet or so. Okay. And it had everything spilt on it because people used to use a lot of things in the past that we don't use anymore. So there were herbicides and pesticides and fertilizers and heavens knows what. But what had happened is that the copper had turned these beautiful, beautiful colors, really gorgeous, and it looked like an abstract painting. And so
that's what gives that
part of it, not on these ones, just the big one. And so I said to him, I says, you know, this would make a great start of a painting. And so he's a good man, my husband. And he took it off the desk and brought it in, and we flattened it. I cleaned it as carefully as I could, and then I started working with it. Yeah, and and then I was working on it, and he came in, and he said those words I really love to hear. Bets, I have more copper.
That's like Christmas morning, hey?
That was like, I went, oh. And so he had other copper, and again, it was salvaged for someplace, but it was really, really dirty. There was nothing showing through. So we used a torch and we burned it and I cleaned it. And I wanted to show that we have a relationship with the earth that we don't yet understand. And there's all sorts of scientific information that's coming our way regarding that, that connection.
Every day, more and more.
More and more. And so then I started to add other things to the pieces to imply these connections that are almost magical that we don't think about, but yet, if we don't honor them, if things are happening that I feel need to be I needed to explore, and perhaps people want to be aware. These little plexiglass pieces inspired these, and I was thinking that we are all so dependent, and we've all heard the phrase hanging by a thread, especially in regard to animals that are threatened.
Yep.
And all the animals that I've depicted are endangered or threatened. And so then I thought, we are all dependent. It's not just the human hand holding life, it's all of this, all of these creatures. And so I wanted to show, air, the trees. This one over here is a human hand. Over there, it's an octopus tentacle to represent the different elements. And there's more coming. I've got more pieces to make for something else. So it's just, and it's exciting because all of this was made with old things in my studio. Things that were drying out, that were going to hit the landfill, and I didn't want to do that. And so I used them in ways that you don't use them, and I had many eek moments, let me tell you. But it was really exciting, and I have to say it was also really fun because I never knew what was going to happen because I was using them in ways that you don't normally use them.
I like it. Well, thanks for your time today, Betty. This was great. Yeah, thank you. Great to catch up. And of course, come and check out this exhibit, of course, on now at Two Rivers Gallery. This is a real treat to look at all the little intricate details you can see when you take a walk along here and have a look for yourself. So thanks for your time.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Miss an episode? That's okay, life gets busy. We get it. Or maybe you didn't miss anything, but you're here to watch that one feature again because honestly, it was that good. No judgment. Here's the good news. You can relive every moment of the CKPG Today Show whenever you want. Head over to ckpgtoday.ca, click on the Today Show tab, and voila. So grab some snacks, kick back, and binge away because let's face it, life's too short to miss out on great local TV.
Coldest night of the year coming up here in Prince George, February 22nd, actually everywhere February 22nd, including here in Prince George. Supporting AWAC, though, locally. Thanks so much, Danny and Connie, for coming in today. Connie, tell me, this is a very cool tradition. How many years have you guys been doing this?
I knew you were going to ask me that. I think this is our eighth year doing it, yeah.
And a good benefit for you guys. Talk to me a little bit about the benefits of, obviously, it's a walk, it's awareness, and a little bit of support, too.
Yeah, so when it first came to our community and we really thought that it was a great opportunity for our organization to bring awareness about those suffering out in the cold, and to talk about the efforts that we're doing to support individuals that are struggling out there, and our goals of giving them more than just a shelter for them to stay, but giving them an opportunity to embark on a healthier journey and a road to recovery.
Yeah, and Danny joined us today. Thanks for making the time as well. One of the many success stories out of AWAC. Tell me a little bit about your story here and share me. Yeah.
So about this time last year, I was homeless, and I was able to get into supportive housing, and it's been awesome. Like they're helping me with they're helping me in different areas as educational training and life skills. So it feels like a safety blanket, going in there. So it's been pretty good. Like there's a lot of support, supportive housing. So
yeah. Well, I was going to say everyone talks about the biggest barrier, of course, making it off the street. The biggest, hardest barrier. I've talked to Connie many times about that, and you've done it. So looking back, just walk me through a little bit of that journey, and I guess it must be cool to look back even now yourself, being like, wow, I made it this far. Like this is pretty cool, and there's so much more ahead.
Yeah. Well, through my whole life, I've spent a lot of time in foster homes, group homes, time spent in jail, and you know, it made it hard for me to connect. You know, without having a cultural or spiritual identity. I think those are some big factors. You know, and within the last year, I've been searching for a more profound connection to the world, right? And I found that, you know, being able to find a good home and a safe place to do it, right? So.
Well, thanks for sharing that. It takes a lot of courage to come forward today on the show and talk about it. I think that's one of the cool things as well that we get to do is share stories like this. So hopefully people out there, you know, learn a little bit more about the journey that, you know, folks have to go through to get off the street, and that barrier is so hard. Yeah. Connie, talk to me a little bit about how far the support goes that people obviously supporting the Coldest Night of the Year and AWAC, whether it's through the Miracle on 3rd or other things, but like this is a walking, living tale of what you guys do.
Yeah, when we first started, our goal was to, you know, provide startup kits for a lot of the individuals transitioning from the street, moving into housing. But as the years have progressed, we've realized that there's a lot more that individuals need, like Danny wanting to continue her education, right? So funds that we raise help go towards paying, you know, for tuition, for books, for, you know, transportation to school. There's a lot of individuals that are needing teeth work done.
Right, yeah, that's not cheap, as I would know, yeah.
No, so it goes towards that because, you know, they're transitioning into a better life, right? And a lot of it's self-esteem, and, you know, you want to build up their self-esteem, and a lot of them need that dental work, but it is expensive. So a lot of these funds go towards that, which builds their self-esteem and their confidence, and then, you know, they can embark on, you know, wanting to go to school or go, you know, gain some employment.
Definitely. People watching this, Connie, want to join in for the Coldest Night. It's easy to sign up online, right?
Yep. Just go to cnoy.org and just click on Prince George. And there's teams. If you don't want to make a team or join a team, you can just pick any team and donate to any of the walkers that are on there.
Awesome. And then, Danny, as we wrap this up, what would your message be to those folks out there? Maybe folks who have family members on the street or something like that, or what would maybe just your message of courage be to people out there?
I just would like to say that recovery is possible. You aren't your thoughts, and the world's a better place with you in it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yes.
Amen. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you coming on today and making the time, and definitely join in the Coldest Night of the Year. A great cause here in Prince George, 8th year going on. So
it's a lot of fun.
Thank you so much, Connie and Danny.
Yes. Thanks, Katie.
We get up bright and early for today's CKPG snapshot from Chris LeBeau, a sunrise over Prince George. This taken from Cranbrook Hill, looking west over the bowl. Yeah, this is a beautiful scene. If you get to wake up to this every morning, maybe you're already at work, but hey, if you can see the sunrise, that is a beautiful thing. We definitely take a little for granted this time of year. Thanks so much, Chris, for capturing this moment. If you have a snapshot, send it our way, snapshot@ckpg.com. Hey there, got an idea or a suggestion for the show? Reach out and connect through our social media or send us an email at letstalk@ckpgtoday.ca. Here's what's coming up in our community. Check out the Coldest Night. It's a fundraiser and a chance to build some awareness for those folks who spend time outside on the streets. This is in support of the association advocating for women and community. You can sign up for that one online. Check out the PG Roll-A-Dome for Black History Society's celebration. This is their annual gala celebrating community, history, and culture. Check out ECRA on February 22nd at 6 p.m. for Food Frolic 2025. This supports Spinal Cord BC and also the Hard Ski Hill. Dance the night away with live music and so much more. Check out the CN Center for the Northern BC RV and Outdoor Expo on February 21st, running until February 23rd. Shop for that outdoor toy maybe you've been thinking of and let your summer imagination run wild. If you have an event, send us the info. Let's talk at ckpgtoday.ca.
Prince George has hosted some cool events over the years, hasn't it? Yeah, it has. Snowcross being one of them, and we're going to take a look at that today in local history. We sure are.
Today we look back on a snowy day in 2002 because the snow chaos, otherwise known as the Snowcross, was happening in Prince George. It was, well, as you can see, a bit of a tumultuous event. A few spills here. You can see literally a guy bailing off his sled here. But yeah, nobody was seriously injured, so that's good to note. But yeah, Snowcross, one of many cool events held in Prince George over the winter.
Yeah, remember that one time that guy jumped over Kearney Street? Arguably cooler than Snowcross. But hey, Snowcross, great event, and yeah, it was a pretty legendary time, eh? Prince George can be a great place with snow, I can assure you, eh? Oh, oops. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you for more great stuff tomorrow. I gotta do some work here. Bye for now.